Kendall Francois confessed to murdering 8 women, hiding their bodies in his Poughkeepsie home. Between 1996 and 1998, a shadow fell over Poughkeepsie, New York. Vulnerable women, many struggling with addiction and sex work, began to disappear. The local police department, already strained by limited resources, faced a growing crisis. As fear gripped the community, detectives grappled with jurisdictional confusion and the chilling reality that a predator was operating in plain sight. How did Kendall Francois evade capture for so long, and what dark secrets lay hidden within his home? The first to vanish was Wendy Myers in October 1996. Her disappearance, like many that followed, was initially treated as a missing person case. Police had few leads, and the victims' transient lifestyles made them difficult to track. The Poughkeepsie Police Department and the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office faced immense pressure to find answers, but the scale of the disappearances began to suggest a pattern far more sinister than isolated incidents. Gina Barone disappeared in December 1996, followed by Kathleen Hurley and another unidentified woman in early 1997. The common link among the victims was their association with the local red light district and their struggles with substance abuse. This made them easy targets for Kendall Francois, who exploited their vulnerabilities to lure them into his home. Investigators began to suspect a connection, but concrete evidence remained elusive. Kendall Francois himself was known to police, having had minor run-ins with the law. He was questioned in connection with the disappearances but maintained his innocence. His ability to pass a polygraph test and his seemingly ordinary life allowed him to remain under the radar. Detectives were stymied by a lack of forensic evidence and the difficulty of linking Francois directly to the missing women, creating a frustrating stalemate. The break in the case came in August 1998. A tip led authorities to Francois' home, where they made a horrific discovery. The bodies of multiple women were found hidden in his basement and backyard. This gruesome find confirmed the worst fears of the community and launched a full-scale homicide investigation. The meticulous hiding of the bodies suggested a level of planning and premeditation by the killer. Confronted with the evidence, Kendall Francois confessed to the murders of 8 women. His motive, as revealed through his confession, was rooted in a desire for control and a twisted sense of power. The investigation uncovered a pattern of manipulation and brutality, highlighting how Francois preyed on the most vulnerable members of society. The Poughkeepsie serial killer case sent shockwaves through New York and became a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in overlooked communities. The first layer is context. Every documentary story begins before the moment people remember. There is a setting, a chain of decisions, and a public reaction that shapes how the event is understood. In the case of Kendall Francois, the Poughkeepsie serial killer, the important thing is not only what happened, but why the surrounding details made people pay attention. That is where the story begins to move from a simple summary into something more useful. It asks us to look at timing, location, pressure, and the way one moment can represent a much larger pattern. The second layer is what people often misunderstand. A single image or short clip can feel complete, but it usually leaves out the forces around it. Viewers see the result, not the build-up. They see the most dramatic frame, not the quiet details that made it possible. That gap matters because it changes the meaning of the story. When we examine Kendall Francois, the Poughkeepsie serial killer carefully, we are not just asking what is visible. We are asking what is missing from the first impression. Then comes the turning point. This is where the story stops being only about one scene and starts pointing to a bigger question. Why did this particular moment stand out? Why did people share it, debate it, or return to it later? The answer is usually not one simple fact. It is a combination of emotion, uncertainty, and recognition. People respond when a story feels specific, but also familiar enough to connect to something they already care about. Another important detail is the human tendency to look for a clean conclusion. We want a final answer, a clear lesson, and a single explanation that ties every loose end together. But strong documentary stories often resist that. They leave us with evidence, competing interpretations, and a reminder that public understanding is always incomplete. That does not make the story weaker. It makes it more honest. So what value can we take from Kendall Francois, the Poughkeepsie serial killer? The value is not just the event itself. It is the pattern around it. It shows how quickly attention forms, how easily context disappears, and how important it is to ask better questions before accepting the easiest version of a story. That is why stories like this continue to matter after the first wave of attention fades. In the end, Kendall Francois, the Poughkeepsie serial killer, remains worth examining because it sits between fact and interpretation. We can see enough to understand why it matters, but not always enough to close the case completely. And that open space is where documentary storytelling becomes powerful. It does not tell us what to think. It gives us a clearer way to look. The capture of Kendall Francois brought a grim closure to the Poughkeepsie disappearances, but the scars on the community and the victims' families remain. His ability to blend in and evade suspicion for so long serves as a chilling reminder of how predators can operate undetected. This case underscores the critical importance of thorough investigations and community vigilance in protecting vulnerable populations. For more in-depth true crime investigations, subscribe to our channel.